Welcome to this episode of Managing Director Diaries. With our special guest here today is Ewan Sturman, who's a word of mouth marketing and referral expert. So it's going to be a really interesting podcast. So listen for more. Welcome, Ewan, to this episode of Managing Director Diaries.
Thanks for having me.
And obviously, we've known each other quite a few years now.
It is. I wouldn't like to say how many, actually.
We both had a few less grey hairs.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's been. You know, I've learned so much over the years from you. And we were just talking off camera before about obviously some of the impact you've had on people's lives and from a business, and personal. Because I think business and personal there isn't intertwined because. If someone's business is doing okay, their life tends to prosper as well. So,
yeah, it's not just about the business interest. When I first started doing referrals, it was always you're a solicitor, you're an accountant, you should meet. Whereas now it's about what their likes are, their interests are. I was doing a presentation, and one of the things that we did in the presentation was you've got to talk about yourself for 2 minutes. But you're not allowed to mention work.
Right.
And Stuart, who's in his 60s, said, I do Lego models. And the rest of the room just burst out laughing. These are his workmates. And once he'd finished laughing, I said, that's great, because I've got 5 people I can introduce Stuart to just because he does Lego models.
Wow.
So it's not just the business stuff. And it can be anything. It could be musicals, it could be football, it could be golf, but it's not just business that makes referrals happen.
That's very true, actually. Yeah. But so, how did you get started in the world of referral marketing? What was the starting point for you?
I had an opticians. I'd been in business about a year, and then somebody said you need to go to this BNI thing. It could be quite good for you. And I said, oh. I was new, so I thought, yeah, I'll go to that. And he said it's at 6:45 at the Village Hotel in Bromborough, and I thought, that's smashing. We can go for a pint after. And they said, no, it's in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Anyway, I went along, and to be honest, I hated it at first. I was so nervous, public speaking, having to introduce myself to people. And I thought, this might work. So I joined it, and it did work. It took a while, but it did work. And then I thought, I wonder if I could get better at this. So I started reading books, and looking at other things, other aspects that have relevance to it, like understanding personality types, referral strategy, all those different things. Now you don't have to read it; you can just watch it on YouTube or have it on Audible. But I did an awful lot of reading.
That's good. I mean, I think there's so many. It's such a sort of a big topic, and hopefully we're going to learn more about it today. So, what would you say the fundamental principles of word of mouth marketing then?
For me, it's actually training people how to find you referrals, not telling them what you do. In most of the networking I've done, most of the people I meet in networking, they are very good at telling me what they do. And if I actually said to them, teach me how to find a referral for you, they can't do it.
Right.
So telling me what they can do is good. If somebody says to me, do you know somebody who does that?
Yeah.
Then I can go, yes, I do. You need to speak to Gareth because he's brilliant at it.
Yeah.
Do you need somebody to do solar? Yeah, you need to speak to Gareth. He's ace. But can I actually proactively go out and find you referrals properly? That's the difference.
Yeah,
and that's fundamentally where people generally get it wrong. I don't need to know the ins and outs of how you do what you do. I need to know how to go and find your referrals.
Of course, yeah.
So, for example, if I was at a golf club, for example, golf clubs I know use a lot of energy. I can just go, oh, this must cost a lot to heat.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever thought about solar? Oh, well, we have thought about it, but we don't know much about it. We don't know much about the costs. Okay. Well, I can introduce you to somebody. Gareth, I know Gareth personally.
Yeah.
I know how he's developed the business. He does his own podcasts. He's got great staff. He's really passionate about net zero carbon. shall I get Gareth to give you a call?
If you've got the tools, it is easy, but I think it also requires the right type of a proactive person in the end.
Yeah.
Because I think people walk past opportunities to help, especially in the BNI environment. They walk past opportunities all day long and aren't quite tuned into it. And like what we say is when we go to events or general networking events is we'll end up talking about the easiest one for us is, and this is something I've learned from you in the past, is we'll just start talking to people about the cost of energy.
Yeah.
How it's gone up. Everyone's got a passion for their own opinions on energy and how it's gone up and blah, blah, blah. So for us, it's a very, very easy inroad into we help people save energy. We go, oh, really? And then it's a really easy way of opening a conversation without it becoming too salesy.
Yeah.
So they've already told us they've got a problem, not necessarily got a problem, but they're concerned about the cost of energy in their business or in their home.
The thing about it is you can actually teach somebody to do that almost about anything.
Yes, that's true.
So, for example, if I was playing golf and I want to recommend a personal financial advisor, so I'm playing golf with, it could be friends or it could be more likely somebody I've not played golf with before. I might go, oh, my pension's just gone up by 17% this year. How's yours doing?
Yeah.
And they will have an answer of, oh, mine's done well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I haven't got a pension.
Yeah.
Which then starts a conversation about somebody that I'm trying to get business for.
Yeah.
So you can teach people to do it about pretty much anything.
It's in principle when you it's actually quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's just asking the right type of questions or saying the right sort of phrases to prompt a conversation.
It's also being aware that I am here to sell my services to the client.
Yeah.
But I can actually be more useful if I can offer more services to solve more problems.
Yeah.
I was in a golf club probably 3 months ago, talking to them about insurance, and I just said, what's your next big project? And he said, oh, we've got to get the kitchen refitted. It's it really needs some work, but we haven't really got enough money to do it. And I went, okay. So they showed me the kitchen, and it did need a bit of work doing to it. And I said, well, I know some guys who install kitchens, so they probably rip stuff out that's probably newer than what you've got. Would you be interested in talking to them? Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So they might just help them out at the beginning, or they might go, actually, we need to buy this, we need to buy that. So it's being aware, I've done my job, I've got my bit done.
Yeah.
Who else can I get in front of these people?
So from a BNI point of view, to explain what your current sort of position within BNI is here in the UK.
I'm Managing Area Director for North Wales and Chester West.
Yeah. And that's just, if you just let us, I mean, for those people who don't know what BNI is, because there's going to be people watching who aren't aware of BNI. And I have done a video recently on business referral, networking, or business networking, and I mentioned a lot about BNI. So just explain to the viewers what BNI is and what the organisation's about.
BNI is the world's leading referral organisation. Its growth in the last 20 years has been massive. When I joined it had 50,000 members.
Wow.
Globally. We've now got over 300,000 members globally. And it is fundamentally a system to generate more business for your business by referrals. It's just making it into a process. You turn up for a meeting, you educate the other members on the team about referrals, and they go out and look for them for you. It's got rules and processes, but that's why it works.
It is, and that's one of the things I've always liked about BNI is structure. You know, I'm a busy person, and a lot of other people are as well, but I think I like structure, and I like to go there for a purpose. There's an awful lot of networking meetings where they're just coffee chat shops, sit around a table and you chat. And don't be wrong, that's building relationships, but I like the idea of BNI that actually there's a structure. It's designed to get your business. If you do it right, it works.
Yeah, and it's proven over 30 years to work. We only have one person per profession in each group, so everybody knows who is their electrician, who is the financial advisor they're looking for work for. And for me, it's the accountability that they measure everything. There's no pressure on people. You've got to bring a referral every week or anything like that. But if you haven't brought any referrals in a few months, there's how can we help you? What is it that we need to do for you? Not pointing the finger at you saying, it could be training, could be you're not really understanding something about somebody's business. So it's all about how can we help you to help the other members. And there's a huge amount of training that goes on in BNI to help you make it work better for yourself. Yeah,
because effectively BNI is it's a strictly networking event, but it's all about it's referrals, isn't it? That's the basis of it. It's generating opportunities for your fellow members.
And some of the opportunities might be small opportunities, and some of them could be very big. One of them that was passed in North Wales last week was over £60,000.
Wow. It's a great sort of organisation, and like I said, we've been involved for many years, and I think there's an awful lot of people with negativity around it, isn't there, Ewan? And we were saying this just off camera, weren't we? And some people have got some really bad stories, even though they've never ever been to a meeting.
Well, for me, I've been to lots of BNI meetings over the years in lots of different groups and even in different countries. And for me, BNI is a little bit like ice cream. Everybody likes ice cream, but not everybody likes the same flavours. So you might go to one BNI meeting and go, I didn't like that much. And then you go to a different meeting that's run, although the system's the same, it's run by different people. And they go, that was good. And it's actually the same thing.
Yeah, that's very true.
You've been to different meetings and some that you've gone, wow, that was ace. And others gone, not sure about that.
Yeah.
And some people don't like the system, some people don't like the structure, and some people don't like the accountability, and that's fine. All the networking you do, whether it's BNI, Chamber of Commerce, Federation of Small Businesses, something local, it's a playing field.
Yeah.
And it's just deciding which playing field you like best.
Yeah. Yeah, we've dabbled in different stuff over the years, but I think for us it's BNI is only the one that's really worked, and we'd sort of continue to, and I would recommend, to be honest, personally recommend. That's why I've did a podcast recently, and it was about business networking, and a lot of it was about BNI, and I said in the last video, this isn't in paid partnership with BNI in any way. It's just obviously talking about experiences, and because it's and I'm telling part of these podcasts is it's telling a story, and my personal business has been impacted by BNI. It's been one of the tools I've used over the years to grow my business, and so I'm just telling my story.
Yeah, I was the same when I first joined BNI, kicking and screaming years ago. I had an opticians, and once I learnt how to use BNI, we used to bring £50,000 worth of business in year on year, plus the repeat business it brought in as well.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan, but I also know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and there's other ways to do it.
So from being in within BNI, and how have you found that's helped launch your own career in sort of, because obviously there's BNI, but obviously you've been involved in other organisations and things like that. But I know you've done some quite big speaking opportunities within. How has all that helped to get to those sorts of points and give you that confidence?
First of all, if you'd have said to me when I joined BNI any time in the first year, you'll be up in front of an audience of 600 people speaking on stage, I'd have said not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. But somebody said, I can't do this presentation, can you do it for me? And he wasn't really asking, he was just saying, you're going to do this for me. And it was an hour and a half training session in front of 10 people. And I learned to do it, and I came out being me was looking at all the different things I did wrong. And then I got a phone call from somebody the following day saying that was really good, thanks very much. And it sort of, from there, it gave me a little bit of confidence. Oh, maybe I can do this. And then I got a phone call at 5:30 on a Friday from BNI saying, we've got a conference on, can you speak at the conference?
Yeah.
And before I'd even thought about what I was saying, I said yes. And then I put the phone down and I thought, you idiot. You utter idiot. And again, I just thought I was doing 10 minutes in front of 15, 20 people.
Yeah.
I was doing 15 minutes in front of 400.
Wow.
And again, I prepared all my stuff and thought, oh, this is rubbish. This is not going to work. But I did it anyway. And I got a round of applause. And a couple of people came up to me afterwards and said, that was really good. Yeah. What a good idea that was. And then it's just grown from there. Speaking in different countries on referrals. And that's all. The only topic I do speak about is growing your business by referrals. But yeah, it's been good. Spoke at Venue Cymru on stage with Olympic athlete Roger Black.
Wow.
Lots of different places. BNI Global Conference in the States. That was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I bet.
In front of people who know more about what you do than you do.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's going to be people in that room who know a lot about it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most nerve-wracking.
You can't hide in those sorts of venues, though. If you don't know your stuff, you can't hide.
No.
It's where's the sort of the furthest BNI meeting you've been to?
Furthest BNI meeting I've been to would be Holland and France.
Okay.
I've been to. They were both done in Dutch and French, so I didn't know anything that was going on. But I did know everything that going along because the structure's the same. Yeah. So I knew when the education slot was on, the 60-second presentations, the 10 minutes, the contribution section. But I still didn't know anything. But I know people who've been to BNI in India, America. Steve Wall's a good friend. He actually went to Barcelona and picked up some work while he was there.
Yeah. That's well, if you can, that's great, isn't it? In those sorts of situations. Do you find that some of the is there any particular skills from running your own business that have transferred into you as being a referral expert now? Or actually is everything you've learned has come off the back of it?
Most of what I've learnt's come off the back of joining BNI.
Yeah.
When I had my opticians, we didn't do a great deal of advertising, and most of the business came from referrals. We just didn't really know how to make it happen more frequently.
Okay.
I don't think you pick an opticians from Yellow Pages or Google these days. It was Yellow Pages in those days, which says how old I am. And certain professions, you're not going to just go Google, find me a solicitor.
Yeah.
It's going to be done by, do you know somebody, do you know a decent solicitor, do you know a decent accountant? And then learning how to make it happen. There was a lot of studying done at the beginning in order to make it happen.
I can imagine it's, but I suppose going from being an opticians into what you are today is quite a jump, really, because I remember you were telling me that obviously it wasn't the biggest of businesses, and you got some quite interesting referrals yourself whilst being an optician in BNI. And I don't think today I've heard of many opticians in BNI.
There are a few.
Yeah.
I was the first, but we got some big clients from BNI as the opticians. We had one. What we called contract job, which was we did all the eye testing for Leyland trucks.
Okay.
Which was good business for us. And then through BNI we picked up BNFL, British Aerospace, Baxi Boilers, SSS International, Quest International. We did get asked if we'd do the Maze Prison, but my business partner wasn't keen on that one. But yeah, all those came from BNI contacts.
Wow. And how long did it take to get those type of contacts? We're not talking a few months here. It takes time.
The last big one we brought in was British Aerospace from starting in BNI. That was probably 3 years, but we did pick up others in between. So SSL International came on board. BNFL came on board. So we started picking up some big stuff in our second year, I would say.
Because one thing we've always touched on is trust. And it's something you've taught me over the years within in a BNI network. And I remember you giving the analogy with the business cards, the trust for business cards, or trust for building a house. Just explain that sort of that, because it's a really important thing around trust, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to refer somebody to certainly my best client unless I trust them implicitly. I might go, can you put an EV charging point on my house?
Yeah.
Whereas if you do that and it doesn't quite work out, one, it's not cost me a huge amount of money,
yeah.
And two, it demonstrates how good you are at what you do. There's a big difference between that and can you put solar panels on my best friend's factory for £500,000?
Exactly.
So the level of trust is massive, and the bigger the job and the higher value the job, the more trust is needed for that to happen.
Yeah.
If I got some business cards printed and somebody messes them up or there's a spelling mistake, it's cost me 50, 60, £70. If somebody's building me an extension and it goes completely wrong, one, I've paid them, I've got to start again. I might have to go through court, all of that thing. So the trust is really important, which is why the personal side of stuff's important on it too, rather than just, I know you as a business person.
Yeah. I mean, I said it in one of my other podcasts, actually. I got involved with the Freemasons through BNI.
Great, yeah.
So, but it's because you're building those relationships with people in the room, you trust and like people, and but it's another. I think there's an awful lot of things can come off the back of, again, meeting with people, like-minded people every week, week in, week out, for years. You naturally build friendships, and I've got people I'm, still keep in touch with now since obviously I was involved in BNI. It was knocking on for 20 years really as a company and an individual, and there's still people now. Like our web guy, Paul Levy.
Yes,
he still hosts all our websites. And so that's not far off a 20 relationship that came from BNI.
No, the relationships can be long-standing, but they also become friendships as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I play golf with different people, but I have a group of people that I play golf with most of the time, and we'll pass business to each other. We enjoy each other's companies. We'll go on day outs together, but you're just getting to know people properly rather than just on a business level.
I'm going to jump onto some of these specific questions.
Okay.
As a keynote speaker and consultant, what distinctive approaches or methodologies do you bring to the table that set you apart in the realm of word-of-mouth marketing and networking?
I read that question 2 or 3 times. I think it's just the simple practicalities of what I do.
Yeah.
It's not fluffy.
No.
It's just try this. And everything I talk about when I'm speaking is stuff I've tried and it's worked. There's no mystery to referral marketing. It's just making it into a process and a system.
Yeah.
And it's just like building a car. If you follow the system to build a car, you'll have a working car at the end.
Yeah.
If you follow the systems of referral marketing, then you will get something that works at the end. If you tinker about with it or decide to miss bits out, it won't work as well.
Yeah. I think what I remember you mentioned years ago, and I think obviously power teams are a big thing, and whether you're in a networking organisation, I think power teams exist, especially in the tradies we'll call them. I think it exists without a lot of those guys even knowing or trying. They'll have their mate who's a plumber, or their other mate's an electrician, or their other mate's a brickie, and they all will end up working together and have this sort of a mini power team.
Yeah, it works.
Without even trying.
Yeah, it works in the trades very well for the simple reason, they can all do each other's jobs.
Yeah.
So when they walk into an office or a house, they can go, well, I wouldn't have done it like that, or they haven't painted that very well, or they haven't done that. So, and also if the electrician in your house and you need a plumber, and you go to the electrician, do you know a decent plumber?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you need to speak to Dave or Lucy or whoever it is. You're not going to go, oh, can I have a look at their website? Have you got some pictures of work they've done? You'll just go, just give me Dave or Lucy's number.
Exactly.
It doesn't really work well anywhere else.
Right.
Because fundamentally, the concept of it is slightly flawed in the fact that power teams historically have been built around what you do for a living. So they'll put the accountants, the solicitors, the insurance broker, the bookkeeper, the financial advisor in the same group as a power team. But they might all be looking for completely different clients.
True.
So when I've been building referral teams recently, which I've been doing more of, I build them around what people are looking for.
Okay, yeah.
So I've got a manufacturing and engineering power team where everybody in the group is looking for manufacturing and engineering clients. But they have to have them as being part of the group. We have a high net worth client group where everybody in the group's already dealing with high net worth clients. So we're not actually wondering whether somebody actually has got access to those clients, because you can't come in the group unless you have them. And that's a flip on the power team sort of structure, but it works better.
So what would you say the key components and systems that someone who's got a business now can implement to create a referral marketing program?
The first thing for me is always, what clients do you want? Work out what clients you want. Yes, most of us can deal with anybody. You can deal with anybody as carbon zero. You can put solar on anything. But you'll have some clients that you like better, some clients that are more profitable. So it's deciding initially, what clients do I actually want to go for?
Yeah.
Then it's, okay, building a team around you of people that you know are already dealing with those clients that you also get on with.
Yeah.
So to come in one of my teams, the criteria is, so there's 3 criteria. 1, would I want to go for a pint with you? Simple as that. Because if I don't want to go for a pint with you, then I don't really want to, I'm probably not going to refer you.
True. Yeah,
and it could be a soft drink these days, but predominantly, do I want to go and spend time with you? 2, have you got similar moral compass work-wise and socially to myself? I don't want to be worried about whether I'm putting somebody in front of them and they're going to do what's in their best interest rather than the client's best interest. You'll have come across that in business loads. I know I have, where you've gone, why did they sell you that? You don't need that. Or, I've paid a lot for this, but I only use half of it.
Yeah.
So that's important for me, because I don't want to have to worry about that when I'm recommending somebody. What I want is a phone call back saying, I'd just like to thank you for the introduction to Gareth. He was great.
Yeah.
And lastly, have you got clients that I want? Have you got access to clients that I want? And that's the fundamentals and the starting points of setting it up. And then it's just spending time with them, whether it's once a week, once a fortnight. Most of my teams meet fortnightly. Do it on Zoom because it saves time, but it's training each other how to find referrals for you.
So have you, because I know obviously from the notes I've got here, have you done quite a lot of writing on referral marketing, and have you got your own book?
No, I've got half a book.
Okay.
I've done a couple of CDs with a very good friend of mine, Ian White.
Okay.
I have done a lot of writing on the technical side of, and designed workshops and stuff like that. There's enough books on referrals and networking out there without my needing to do one, I think. But it's I'm always interested in testing theories out. Does this work? Will that work?
Yeah.
What about this as a concept? If we changed how somebody said that, will it increase or decrease the amount of business you get from referrals? So I'm always looking at, how can we make it better? How can we make it more effective? How can we make it more efficient?
And from the half a book you've written, What would you say is there some takeaway bits in there that you thought were like one of the key points of that text you'd written, that was half book?
The half book, which I don't even know where it is.
Sounds like the name of the book.
The half book. I couldn't be bothered doing a full book. Most of the stuff is about training people how to find referrals for you. You know, how do I actually teach people how to find a referral? What is a symptom of a referral? What is, if I walk into a building, if I walk in, I'm talking to somebody, what is it somebody I can see? What is something somebody is going to say that makes me think that's a referral for Gareth? And then a lot of referrals is based on saying as little about the person as possible. I know somebody personally who does that. Shall I get them to give you a ring?
Yeah.
For me, it's the opposite. The bigger the transaction value, the more I should have to talk about you.
Yeah.
So, for example, one of the guys in the pub was talking about downsizing.
Yeah.
And it was going to release £250,000 worth of income to him.
Yeah.
And I got his attention. He came over to talk to me and said, "This is a lot of money you're talking about. Why are you listening to a plumber for advice on £2.5 million?"
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't know anyone else." I said, "Before I introduce you to this person, let me tell you about them.
Okay.
And then after that, tell me if you want to talk to them."
Yeah.
So I then spoke about the individual for 10 or 15 minutes, rather than, "I've got a mate who does financial advice, shall I get him to give you a ring?"
Yeah.
At the end of that 15 minutes, do you want to talk to him or not? "Yes, I'd love to. Can you put him in touch?" So it's training people how to talk about you when you're not there.
Yeah.
Which is the bit that's most of the time that's missing.
Yeah, it's true though, actually. So we've spoken a lot about referral marketing already this morning. So if you've got a couple of standout clients who you've helped in a couple of success stories around referral marketing, and who'd be those sort of standout clients for you?
Well, one of them is a will writer who came to me, and it was more about the hours he was working.
Okay.
He was putting a lot of hours in because he was getting a lot of low value business.
Yeah.
So his average will at the time was £500.
Okay.
2.5 years later, his average will value is £2,500.
Wow.
Just by changing the way he looks at referrals. And the other one that is very similar, he was a financial advisor. He came to me, we made a director of the company, so he had to massively increase the business he was generating personally. And his initial advice fees, which is what he gets paid for bringing on a new client, went from 149,000 to 238,000 in 12 months, and then topped over 300,000 the following year.
Gosh.
Just by changing, and most importantly for him, working with less clients.
Wow.
So he actually was working with fewer clients, but trebled his income almost.
Because that's a very good point, because sometimes it's not always about, I want more business. It's more of the right type of business, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And anybody who's starting out in business wants any business that's coming in. When you've been in business a while, you actually want more of your best business.
Absolutely.
And it's actually referrals is how you actually manage that. Because, all right, marketing specialists will say that by whatever marketing you can do, you can target to a particular sector. And to a certain extent, that is true. But you've got no control over who responds to an advert. You can stick an advert in North Wales Magazine saying we only want big houses, but you still not got any control on who picks up the phone or drops you an email. Whereas referral marketing, you're teaching people how to find you exactly what you want. And when people take that on board and to a certain extent have to go, right, actually, this is just what I want my referral team to find me, then it works.
Because I think, definitely, I think that the right time, we've we've definitely experienced it and got better at it over the years now of actually turning away some types of clients, and you just get a feel from the type of person they are, or they're going to be a nightmare customer. And we've learnt now. We got bitten recently with a client, and the telltale signs were there. We should have stepped away, and we didn't, and he proved us right. He became a nightmare customer, and one of those people you could do everything and more, and they'd never be happy.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's quite an interesting thing that from referral marketing is making sure you get the right type of customer.
Yeah, and it's teaching people how to wheedle out. So, for example, if I was looking for a client for you, one of the things I would say is, have you got a budget for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're thinking of spending, I don't know, £500. Actually,
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've put away £20,000 just to look at our renewables. Okay, that might be something Garrett's interested in, or 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are questions you can teach people, or how serious are you about getting this done?
Yeah.
So that it's not something that somebody's doing in 10 months, 12 months, 2 years' time. How's important for you to get this done now?
Yeah, true.
So you can always train people to help. You can't make sure they get rid of everybody, but you can train them how to minimise the chance of you getting a bad referral.
I think as well is, and it's something that you've taught me through many a meeting, is making sure if you do get a referral and it's not what you want, is making sure politely you educate that person or the room what you do want, because what you don't want is them to be looking for the wrong type of business for you, or the wrong type of service or something.
Well, also, especially if you're looking to grow your average client value, low ticket value clients generally refer you to more low ticket value clients. Millionaires generally knock around with other millionaires. So what you do, particularly in certain sectors like financial advice, accounting, you get a £10,000 ISA client, and they will know other people who've got £10,000 to put in an ISA, but they're probably not talking to people who've got £500,000 in a pension fund.
Yeah.
So it actually perpetuates you getting lower value referrals. So you end up getting really, really busy, but not making the money that you want.
I'll tell you a funny story. I'm not sure if you know this. I won't mention his name, because I do believe the person at the time was doing it for the right person. When I was a member of the Key chapter, there was a member there, and one week he stood up and goes, "I've got 7 referrals this week." It's like, wow, brilliant. I think I was chapter director at the time. You got 7 referrals. Like, wow, brilliant. That's amazing. And this gentleman started saying, "So I've just found out there's a Sell to Wales tender for this person. There's a Sell to Wales tender for this. That's for you." I was like, it's not quite.
Not really what I came here for.
Not quite. But it is. I'd like to think there was it was trying to be
best intentions.
Yeah, best intentions, definitely. I thought, I think this guy might need some training.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was certainly a bit of an interesting one. But so networking and travel, obviously you've got a passion for golf.
Yes.
How's the golfing world helped you from a referral sort of business aspect?
Well, I think golf is
and travel as well. Sorry, and travel obviously.
Travel. BNI is a global business, so I've got to go to different countries all around the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, Poland, America with BNI. So I've now got global reach.
Yeah. Which
is really nice to be able to go. We actually had it. One of my BNI members was moving to Australia, and we had pretty much everything boxed off for her before she actually left the UK through BNI connections. So nice to be able to do that sort of stuff. And it's not often that he needs to use the global stuff. But, somebody in Australia might have an auntie in Wilmslow who wants a decent electrician, and she doesn't know where to find somebody. She'll use a referral or BNI for it. Golf, the fact that you play golf, you don't have to be any good at it. The fact that you play golf just opens doors. You're spending 4 or 5 hours with some people. You get invited to golf days. I've got to play golf with some people that there's no way I would have ever met them without playing golf. European director for Solar, which is a lens manufacturing company from my old opticians days. Head of marketing for Hewlett-Packard. Head of golf for De Vere. All these different people that you get to meet because you play golf. And it's just having that conversation, starting playing the game somewhere through the round. You go, what do you do when you're not golfing?
I was just about to say that. What do you do when you're not golfing?
Yeah, what do you do when you're not golfing?
Yeah,
which you can do with any sport, but with golf, it's a lot easier, and that's all we do. And then people start talking about themselves, which is normally their favourite subject.
But it's then that's where you learn and you can absorb and you can understand how this person actually could help some other people.
Yeah, I mean, just lots of different things you can talk, and the easier it is to actually build the relationship if you can steer the conversation around to more personal stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting a puppy, and then I've got dogs. All of a sudden, you're going down a completely different conversation. But you're changing that relationship because it's now actually nothing to do about work. It's about you. I never refer a business person. I just refer people.
That's a good way of looking at it. It's because I think what we've been talking about today is it's about helping other people, isn't it? Because I know BNI's got its motto, "Give us gain," and
yes.
but I think generally in life is, it's good to help other people, and there's always that feel good factor of actually helping someone grow their business and helping someone find a great opportunity to grow their business because that's what they're passionate about.
Or it could even be helping out their hobby.
Yeah.
One of my contacts just bought a polo horse.
Okay.
And I saw on Facebook somebody was selling a horse box. Just sent her a picture of the post and said this might be of interest to you.
Yeah.
But it shows I'm thinking about them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be about the business side of stuff. It's just an opportunity to say I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
So it could even be an article that's come through on email that you think I'm not really interested in that, but I wonder if anybody I know does. Yeah. And you just say, sent this through, thought this might be of interest to you. You're constantly keeping that relationship going and working on it.
It's important. I'm very passionate about helping others, and we do a lot with we're doing our toy appeal at the moment. And I mean, last night I went to Co-op and pulled up in my flash car, but there was a guy out there who was sleeping rough. So I went into Co-op and bought my hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And gave him on the way out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's nice to do things to help other people, where you might might not directly benefit anything at all. I'm not going to benefit anything from, I've not put any of my social media. You see those social media posts with people buying homeless people drinks and someone's filming it and it's all like, it wasn't about that. I just generally just wanted to help someone, and
it's just nice to be nice.
It is, and I think, but referral marketing and helping other people, it's nice to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a feel good factor thing about it.
And you don't have to measure everything. It doesn't have to be measured by money or the value of something. It's just I helped somebody do that.
Yeah. And there must be so many people. We were talking before before the podcast started that you announced you were going to be leaving BNI, and then obviously I know you've come back, but you had 400 messages of.
Yeah, I don't really know. Over the years, I've never really looked at how much impact I've had on anybody with the training I've done, BNI itself, and I was stepping out of BNI and I put on Facebook and LinkedIn last day in BNI today. And just on Facebook alone, I had over 400 comments on thanks very much for everything you've done. And to be honest, I was completely shocked.
Yeah.
One guy, I wouldn't be in business now if I hadn't taken anything from the training that you'd given me, or you hadn't given me the time. And I was just completely, totally unaware of any impact I've had on anybody. And it was amazing, but it was not oh wow, look at me. It was just like, wow, this is.
I mean, I've definitely learned so much off you over the years. Definitely, there's
well, it's been a two-way thing. It's not just a one-way thing. I've learned things from you too.
Oh, thank you. So you're obviously an avid user of LinkedIn. Yeah. Like myself, and is there any opportunity, any ways or like snippets of information or tips you can give any of the viewers around how they could use LinkedIn from a referral or word of mouth type marketing?
To be fair, from a referral point of view, it's just like going to a networking event. You meet somebody new on LinkedIn, you like it, you like them, you comment on their posts, you send them a direct message, not, by the way, you've just linked in with me, do you want to buy this?
Yeah, not those.
Because we get those all the time. And again, sharing posts that you see, saw this, thought this might be of interest to you. The other thing is also, instead of waiting for people to contact you, reach out to people that you know are dealing with the clients that you want.
Yeah.
So if your target market was franchises, find out who's already dealing with franchises and reach out for them. So at least you know when you do post something that your target audience is going to see it.
Yeah.
And it's like anything. We're on LinkedIn regularly.
Yeah. You
can't just do it for a week and then stop and then pick it up again in 3 or 4 months and do it for a week and then stop. I spend 10 minutes a day, every day.
Yeah, I'd agree. If not a little bit more,
10 minutes is enough for me, but you could start off with, right, I'm just going to spend 5 minutes. As soon as I switch the computer on, I'm going to do 5 minutes commenting, liking and sharing. It doesn't always have to be your posts. You can comment, like and share on other people's.
Yeah, of course.
But build it in as part of your day. And don't try and sell on LinkedIn.
No, I think there's ways and means of. I think you can get away with the occasional sort of advert on there, to keep people. I find it quite difficult because obviously what I do is quite diverse. It's, I might have a mixture of different types of people who are connections on there. So it's updating. It's every now and again update people on what you're doing, or if you've got new product or service or something. And it's as long as it's not sales.
The other thing is tips.
Yeah.
So I did a series of posts on why to build a referral team, how to build a referral team, who do you need in your referral team.
Yeah.
And I'm just teaching people how to do what I do.
Yeah.
And those posts just kept getting bigger and more likes and more comments and thanks. So quite often just tips on how to help people do the job that you would do for them.
Yeah.
So if they do plan to, right, I'm going to go and do this myself, Gareth was very helpful. Or you might find, do you know what, I started doing research into this. This is a lot more difficult than I thought. Gareth was very helpful. I'll go back to Gareth.
Going back to helping people, like I said, on my LinkedIn, I've got quite a broad range of different connections. I've got a lot of energy connections. I've got a lot of leisure connections and holiday park owners and general manager and that sort of thing. And there was a general manager of a site down in Cornwall who posted a picture of, we're having all this work done at the park, all these new bases for all these new lodges, blah, blah, blah. So I just dropped him, I was connected with this guy, dropped him a message and just said, not sure you're aware, but it looks like you're doing some amazing things down there. There's actually a solution now where you don't need concrete to put caravans, statics and lodges on. You can use like a screw system.
Oh, I still remember you. I remember when you first got involved in that.
So I said to a guy, I said, is it something of interest? And he goes, yeah, send me some information. And so someone I know within the ground screw industry has actually developed a system purely, and he's had it approved by various lodge manufacturers now. So I just referred this guy in. I'm not going to benefit from it, but I know. But he helps me out. So he refers us in for solar.
Mm-hmm.
So he does the ground screw systems and he does all the frameworks and we do all the solar aspects. We work together. But he's referred me into some big clients. So I want to repay him and refer him where I can. It's a two-way thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And if you get a tight group of people who are all dealing with the same clients that you want, a trusted partner team, for example, when I go into a client, say it's a high net worth client, I take my trusted partner sheet with me. By the way, these are the other people I work with. You might not need them now, but this is who I work with. And somebody might go, oh, thanks very much, and they might throw it in a drawer, or they might go, what does David do? Tell me a bit more about David, because I might need his services, or John, or Izzy. And even if they do throw it in a drawer, they might pick it up in 6 months' time and go, oh, we need one of those.
Yeah.
So actually, going to that next level of actively going out and promoting the people you're with.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's something I try and proactively do. People who help me, I want to help them as well. I feel that, and I think that that's something that's been ingrained in me from the days of BNI.
Yep.
And it's something that's just built into me. If someone's referring me and helping me, I want to try and help them too. Then like we've said, we probably already touched on this podcast already. Some people, it is easier to find more work than other people because, for me to find work for a solicitor is not as easy as like my mate who we partner with on the ground screws, So, but it doesn't mean I don't want to help that solicitor because they might, if they pass something to me or something,
But it's probably easier for me to find work for a solicitor than it is for your ground screw guy.
Exactly, so it's, I think sometimes it just doesn't happen overnight, but I think it's having that intention that will actually to repay that favour. Actually, not just. I think that's one thing I found in BNI sometimes was you get those takers. They take, and you never get anything.
Yep.
I definitely didn't. I never wanted to be one of them.
No, me neither. But the thing about it, it's having, whenever you go and see a client or anybody, it's going in with that mind about how can I find somebody else something while I'm going in here, rather than what can I get for myself.
Yeah. Yes,
you've got to go in and sell your product or service. That's why you're there. But it's being able to, I'm going to find a way to introduce somebody else into the conversation. I know at the beginning I'd go into somewhere and one of my mates in BNI when I first started was Mark Hale from Heaton Stationery.
Okay.
And I was desperate. I really wanted to help Mark. But nobody mentioned, do you know where I can buy some stationery from?
Yeah.
And I'd work out, nobody asked. And then eventually I started working out how to bring it up in conversation. Yeah. And did I get Mark something from everywhere I went? No. Did I start getting him more business? Yes. But I'm going in there with the attitude I want to try and find Mark some work, rather than if they ask about stationery, I'll go, you need to speak to Mark.
Yeah, of course. It's a proactive approach, isn't it?
Definitely. And you can't be proactive for everybody.
No, you can't, especially somebody like yourself, because, like you said, you had 400 people message you, at that time. You've obviously impacted a lot of businesses. And I suppose the challenge for you as well is you might have 50 solicitors you've dealt with over the last 20 plus years. Who do you give the work to? It's or who do you pass that referral to?
For me, it's always the best person for the job.
Yeah,
because you've got to take things into account like location, expertise, and also are they likely to get on with each other?
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a big thing. I've got financial advisors that are starting their journey who want everything from a £50 a month life insurance to a small ISA. Yeah. I've got financial advisors that don't want anything under £500,000.
Yeah.
So you just, you've got to give the work to the best person all the time.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very good way of looking at it, actually. I like that. So what would you say is the future of referral marketing? Is there any sort of trends to look out for? Is there any way that businesses can stay ahead of the game with?
Well, if I was looking at what I think is going to become certainly a lot more prevalent is affiliate marketing.
Okay.
Referral marketing and referral groups will keep sprouting up, and some disappear and some have longevity. But I think affiliate marketing, more and more businesses will do that, where they have a group of unpaid people who refer you and they get paid if it turns into business. Because that's just increasing your sales force without having to pay anybody.
Yeah.
And also in current economic climates, then more people are looking for a second, third income.
Absolutely, yeah.
And creating an affiliate program. Lots of businesses do it already.
Yeah, they do.
And I go into a factory, somebody says, we're looking to raise some finance because we want to build another wing or buy some more equipment. I go, have you spoken to Bob? No. They speak to Bob. Bob turns into some business. I get a percentage of his commission. Yeah. That stuff can be set up relatively easily.
Yeah.
But you could also end up with 100, 200, 300 people looking out for work for you. That doesn't cost you anything unless it turns into business. And I think that sort of stuff will certainly, it's out there now, but I think it's going to accelerate.
We dabbled with that many years ago. We had the Carbon Zero Ambassador program.
Right.
So we dabbled that with a few years ago, and I think at the time we just didn't have. It almost needs someone in the team dedicated to to make it happen.
It either needs to be a small team of well-trained people or somebody to manage a big team.
Yeah, because I think that was the problem. I set it up, and we've got the logos, everything in, and exactly what you said. We would have people who could be an ambassador, and they'd get a referral fee effectively for that. But what you're saying is it's very big on social media. The whole influencer.
Yeah.
The phrase influence, quite a new phrase, I suppose, but it's effectively almost like having an influencer.
Yeah, I understand the influencer, but just because somebody on YouTube uses a particular deodorant, I'm probably not going to change where I buy my deodorant from. But if I have a group of people around me who, one, are inspired to want to help me grow my business and know they get something from it if they put some effort in, everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Because you're giving away money from business you never had.
True.
It's not paid you to cost the business apart from the commission that you give them.
Exactly.
And it's up to you to decide what you pay them to do.
Well, exactly, because in the end, the business would have had to get that business, you'd have to pay some money in marketing. So it's almost like it's a marketing fee in some respects as well. Is another way of looking at it.
And if you had a salesperson, you'd have to pay them.
Exactly.
So, but you have to pay a salesperson whether they bring any business in or not.
Exactly. So
if you think about your salary, car, etc., then you've got, I don't know, these days maybe 60 grand. Whereas you build a group of affiliates, you don't pay them anything if they don't bring any work in.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think that's going to really accelerate over the next few years.
Yeah, it's a very easy way for a business. But I think it's getting it right, isn't it? And getting the right type of people referring you the right type of businesses. There's an element of training required there, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. You can't just go recommend me and here's some cash.
They definitely need to read your half book for that.
yeah, the half book. We'll have to dig that out. I think it's on an old hard drive somewhere.
Right, but it's I think if businesses are looking to set up an affiliate program, they definitely need to take some key advice from people such as yourself on making sure those people, because if you're going to do it, you're going to do it properly. There's no point messing around with these things. Is those people who are going to be going out looking, the affiliates, if you want to call it, they need some training in how to actually go out and look for those opportunities, unless they're in a very similar sector.
It could be the affiliates are in a similar sector, and it's easy for them to talk about stuff like they could be in the energy sector in a different arena to you, in which case it's very easy for them to talk about what you do. But it doesn't have to be that setup. It could be that somebody's in a completely different industry, but they just have a lot of clients that they could talk to. in which case there needs to be some training, or there needs to be some marketing collateral from you that they can send on, and it needs to be monitored. So there's software out there that you can actually trace back to an original referrer. So if I refer you, I get a referral fee.
Yeah.
But if I talk to somebody else and then they send you some business, that's originated from me. So I can still get a small cut of something that was referred on. And there's software out there to measure that already.
It's powerful. It's I agree. I think it's a very powerful way of growing a business in today's modern world. Is having affiliates to help you.
Yeah, and the benefit from you is if nothing happens, you don't pay them.
Yeah.
So there's lots of businesses already doing that.
Yeah. So what would be your sort of final advice for anyone listening today on who may be looking to start their own business, or maybe he's been in business quite a few years, but they've maybe hit some roadblocks and things on how to, where to take their business? What be sort of the standout sort of bits of advice would you give from word of mouth or networking?
First of all is go and decide what clients you want. Really decide what clients do I really want to go and get a A4 or even 2-page document describing that client. Because if you can't describe the clients that you want, your network can't go and find them. They'll bring you what they think you want.
Yeah.
So, and by niching down into a particular target market, it doesn't mean your network won't bring you anything else, but they know what you really want. And then think about building a referral team around that target client sector, whatever it is. It could be manufacturing and engineering, it could be hospitality, it could be people who drive an Audi and above. Whatever it is, you can define that sector yourself. But once you've defined it, it's then building a team around you. And the teams aren't big. You don't need a big team.
No.
My teams, we've got no more than 10 people in a group. If you look at most successful sports teams, the team is somewhere between 8 and 15 people.
Yeah. For a reason.
It's because when it gets bigger than that, it's not a team.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I think definitely, there's so much we've learned over the years from yourself, Ewan. So
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you on a podcast today, and I think a lot of the fundamentals I think of my business and how we do business and today, and some of the type of clients we have has been influenced by yourself. So
thank you.
Appreciate all the advice and guidance we've had over the years, and look forward to working with you in over the next many, many years. I hope
that would be good.
It's been a pleasure having you here, and
thanks very much for the invite.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see everyone again for the next episode of Managing Director Diaries.